Congratulations, Mark,
Thank you.
on getting your black belt certificate and finishing your project.
Thank you.
Maybe just a few words about the process that you used, and maybe what you received from the the classroom and applied to your project.
Okay. Well, I went through I followed the Six Sigma process, the debate process, and I literally just followed it as it's laid out. So I went through the define part of the process, everything that y'all taught in class, and I just took it and actually implemented it. So I went through, defined it, created my objectives, formed my team. From there, I started looking at data and measuring and seeing where we were with the information that we had. And that took a little bit longer for me. I mean, we had a lot of data to go through. And then I started the analysis process, looking at, as a team, we finalized on a couple of data points that we wanted to look at, and started that process of analyzing that information, collecting that information, seeing where it was. And in that, when we were looking at our utilization and our invoice dollars, we did some 2 sample t-tests to see if there was significance from where we were before to where after we made our changes in our process. And in the end, we implemented a lot of different things to help us improve our process, and then ended up just using some control charts and a balanced scorecard to kind of control the process.
Excellent. Good review of the actual DMAIC process that we're taught, that we teach in class. Give me 1 or 2 things that were unexpected that came out of the project.
I think for me, one of the things is really throughout the whole amount of data that we collected or that we had, just in that day-to-day kind of data collection that we do, whether it's our data entry, how much of that data was in the end corrupted, and it was, and so to me, that was one of the things that really kind of stood out. And it wasn't that we weren't entering information in, it was just the lack of standards. So by not having good standards in place, we were located throughout the whole state of Alabama, so we can't really talk to each other. And so I was doing it one way and somebody else was doing it another. So that lack of standards really led to some data in the end that was really hard to evaluate. So I think that was the main thing that kind of stood out. I guess the next thing that stood out is when you put some effective metrics in place, and they're communicated very well throughout the organization, that they work. Yeah, and everybody gets on the same page, everybody moves in the same direction, and you can see some pretty significant change take place then.
Yeah, and so based on where you were a year ago into where you are now, how do you actually work different?
A couple of things that for me, well, for all of us, we have a lot better understanding of our individual projects. Going into those projects, we know what should happen. Unexpected things do happen, and we can manage those exceptions. But we have a clear understanding of not only the labor, but the expenses and everything that go into projects. So I think that's one major thing that we all use to help better manage the day-to-day stuff as it relates to the endeavors that we worked on. I think just knowing what our utilization is.
Sure.
Just knowing where we stand personally. Each engineer is kind of managing themselves, and it's kind of forced them to kind of manage themselves. But it's easy because they're provided that information, and they know, and then they can plan out weeks ahead about what they need to do. If they're lacking in projects, they can, either go out and get projects or ask for, others to help them get projects.
Okay. Anything else you might want to add?
I just want to say thanks. I think it was a very good experience. I like the format of how y'all laid out the classes, spreading them over several months. It kind of helped because I didn't have to dedicate a full week to being here. So it was just really good taking that class and then taking that information from the class and putting it in place.
Well, we welcome any more people from just across the border there from Alabama to come see us, okay?
Sounds great.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.